my sciatica, when I started with you, was the worst it has ever been in my life. It was hurting during the day. It hurt when I walked, and it hurt when I lay on my back. So I would lie on my back at night. 45 seconds was as long as I could stand it. It was like a knife. It was like I was lying on a knife point and I had to roll over right away. Right now, my body is feeling the best that it has felt in a long time. The benefits are amazing. Far more than I expected, really.
Why don't we get started? Maybe that you tell us a little bit more about what you do for work, how long you've been doing that, how long you've been having this chronic lower back problem.
Okay. I'm 70 years old. I've had sciatica since I was 30 years old. Not consistently. It comes and goes. And by that I mean I'll have it for several months to a year at a time, and then it'll go away for a year to 2 years, and then it'll come back and go away. I'm not entirely sure what brings it on. Um, then I think kind of the typical from sitting in front of a computer too much, rounded shoulders, and lower back kind of pain, kind of diffused across the whole lower back around the top of the pelvis. These are the complaints that brought me to you. For about 9 months before I started your program, I was trying different things off the internet, and I kind of came to the conclusion that was probably hip rotation was having being the cause of a lot of my issues in my knees and in my lower back. And I saw a few of your exercises on Instagram, as many of us did, and I copied them and I got immediate relief. And so I joined your program.
That's awesome. Now, what would you say your worst moment before we worked together?
I retired a couple of years ago and I moved to Croatia. That's where I am now. And the town that I'm in is built on cliffs. So whenever you go for a walk, you're almost never walking flat. You're walking up, you're walking down, you're taking stairs and like kilometers worth of stairs. And my lower back became very stiff. I would come back from a walk and I'd have to sit down right away and just relax. I was exhausted. And my knees were giving me tremendous trouble. I had trouble that kept changing. Sometimes it would be the right knee, sometimes the left knee, sometimes walking up. If I had trouble walking up, I could almost always walk down easily, and vice versa. Then I'd start having trouble walking down, then I could walk up. It got so bad a few times that I actually turned around. So if I was walking upstairs and that was hurting, I would go up the stairs backwards and then it wouldn't hurt. Or I was coming down the stairs and it hurt. I would reverse myself and go backwards and come down backwards, and then it didn't hurt because I'm using a whole different set of muscles and a whole different dynamic, right, as my foot hits the step. Followed lots of exercises on the internet to try to fix that. And I would say more often or not, it hurt more after self-diagnosis and following someone else's advice about what they thought I should be doing for my knees. It's so generalized, right? You do a Google search on knee pain. Well, there's thousands of causes. So,
Yeah. Have you tried anything else like massage, chiro, physical therapies to fix your problem?
yes. So over the years, I've since I was a teenager, I've gone to chiropractors on a fairly regular basis, and it fixes it, it relieves you for a while, and the problems come back. Physical therapy, I started probably in the late teens, 20 teens, I mean, because of my rounded shoulders. I changed jobs. This was about 10 years ago now. And I went from a more active job. I was a salesperson, so I was going to people's houses and driving around. I was doing a lot more moving around. And I went into an estimator's job where I was hunched over a computer 8 hours a day and getting tremendous tension in my shoulders. So I went to physical therapy for that. It helped. In the middle of that process, I fell and broke my shoulder. And then I went to physical therapy for just for that shoulder to help bring some range of motion back into that. And That's mostly those are the therapies that I've gone to over the years.
Just out of curiosity, do you know how much money you spent throughout the years in the therapist just to fix your back?
A lot. I don't know how much. Whenever I could, I used I was living in Canada at the time, so
Mhm.
whenever I could, I used the health system there. And where I am now, there's a health system. So I did go to a physiotherapist for like 2 weeks here, and that's covered by the health system here.
Cool. And what would you say your body feeling right now?
Right now, my body is feeling the best that it has felt in a long time. I've been doing your program for I think 15 weeks,
Yeah,
and yeah, it's the benefits are amazing. Far more than I expected, really.
that's awesome. Do you notice any changes in your daily life?
Absolutely. A lot more energy. This was something that came right at the almost at the very beginning. And my wife noticed it right away. And she said, "You've got tons of energy. And maybe you have an explanation for this." I suspect it has a lot to do with the slow breathing and spending a lot of time focusing on the breath. I mean, my exercises, the set that you gave me, take an hour. And I can't really get it less than an hour. Sometimes it'll go a little over if I slow my breathing down even more. But I try not to be on the extreme end of too long or too short. But I also began to notice changes in my back as we discussed by text almost immediately. My sciatica, when I started with you, was the worst it has ever been in my life. It was hurting during the day. It hurt when I walked, and it hurt when I lay on my back. So I would lie on my back at night. 45 seconds was as long as I could stand it. It was like a knife. It was like I was lying on a knife point and I had to roll over right away. By the way, I sleep with a pad between my knees, and I've done that for many years. But within a week of starting your program, I could lay on my back for 5 minutes with no pain. And now I can lie on my back and I even fall asleep. I don't fall asleep on my back, but I will in the middle of the night, my wife tells me I'll roll over and lie on my back for half an hour or 45 minutes before I roll over onto my side and remain asleep. That's not seems to be completely out of the picture now. There's no pain when I lie down.
That's awesome. I'm happy for it.
Sometimes there's a little tension, and then you raise your knees and it takes a little bit of that curvature off the bottom of the pelvis. But yeah, that part is great. And in my day-to-day life, most of that pain around the bottom of my lower back, that tension which would come mainly from walking or doing exercise, that has disappeared. And as you and I have discussed before, I just have this little point of sciatica that doesn't really want to go away.
Yeah. So now I know we talked about this before. So what would you say the biggest difference between all the exercise we're doing versus all the exercise or all the other treatment you ever tried before?
Uh, I'm not exercising to become strong. I'm exercising to release tension. I'm going into positions, as you say, fight or flight. My body doesn't want to go there I don't know what the reason is. Maybe trauma years ago. Maybe I've slipped. Maybe there's some kind of an accident and I had compensatory movements that kept me, locked into some kind of a locked position. So when I lie down and I treat your exercises almost like a meditation. I really focus on the breath and I let the breath drain all the tension out of the area that we're focused on with each different position.
That's great. That's awesome.
I
Now,
try to I try to rest in the position. So I find the position, focus on the breath, and I try to rest in that position instead of applying force to get myself into the position.
yeah, that's exactly what we're looking for.
Good.
That's exactly what we're looking for. So, and I know you tried a lot of things before joining this program, and you've been
Yes.
having this for, 30 or 40 years. So what would you
Yes.
say your mindset before joining the program? Are you pretty skeptical or like, so if you're pretty skeptical, so what helps you to make that jump?
It was the effect of the exercises of yours that I copied from Instagram. I did it was the posterior four post, is that what it's called? With the hip pocket.
Yeah, all full posterior capsule stretch.
Thanks. I did that one and I immediately felt a release on the sides of the hips. And I also did the side lying rolling of the ball between my knees. And those two exercises immediately began to release tension in my lower back. And so I came with a lot of hope that the rest of your program would be working for me. I realized that I was copying something from Instagram. I wasn't getting the full explanation, so that's why I came to you to have it all, to correct me in the mistakes that I'm naturally going to make because my body isn't naturally going into those positions easily.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's worth it?
Yes,
Cool.
no question.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
no,
anyone's watching this and they're wondering if they should commit, from my point of view, you should definitely commit. It's worth the expense and it's worth the investment of time.
yeah, for sure. That's actually my next question for somebody who's watching or maybe listening to this video right now. They're on the fence of joining a program, but they're looking for a leg up. Do you have any suggestion for them?
I would just say give it a try. I think when you join the program, you can pay week by week, and I don't know if you still have that opportunity. If they find that that's not working for them, they can always make a decision before they've invested a lot. But from my point of view, it's a very worthwhile investment. I'm feeling better than I have felt in years, and certainly better than I have felt since I retired about 2 years ago, and I just seemed to be getting stiffer and stiffer. A lot of that has gone away.
That's awesome. Now, is there anything else you want to add at the end?
Um, no, I think we've pretty much covered it. It's a great program. I'm very satisfied with it.
Cool. I'm happy for you.
And thank you very much for sharing.
Yeah, awesome. I think that's it for today's interview.